Vanessa coming at you with another video. Now this one is going to be my how I was able to earn $1,000 in 1 month on Poshmark and Mercari selling my old stuff. And if you guys like videos like this, don't forget to give the video a huge thumbs up. It does help me out tons. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Let's get on with the video. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys, and I'm probably gonna just pop up some images here. I pretty much started Mercari and Poshmark around the same time. So I actually got the idea of selling on Poshmark and Mercari from my friend Sally, who when we went to Ohio, she introduced me to Mercari, so therefore shout out to her for introducing me. And I just kind of got addicted to it after a while. After I made my first sale, I thought it was really cool, and ever since then I have been pretty consistently making a decent amount of money every month on Poshmark. Now, I no longer am selling on Mercari. I will also be talking about that further along in the video. So if you guys have questions, don't forget to leave those in the comment section down below, and I will try my best to answer them. So the first thing I want to talk about is how to start on Poshmark and Mercari and just kind of the differences. So with both accounts, you just have to have an app. The first thing you do when you start is you just create an account. If you have like an email address or anything like that, you can start it up. So one thing I will say, that if you want to really earn a lot of money on Poshmark, you have to think about the things that you're selling. I try to sell items that are almost like new, or even have tags still on them, or I even try to sell products that I have purchased to review for videos. When you're posting things on Poshmark or Mercari, you want to think about, would you want to receive that item in the condition that it was in when you purchased it? So you want to think about that. Don't post anything with like a crap ton of stains on it and just something that you wouldn't even want to buy. So one thing that I do want to say, that a suggestion, a huge reason as to why I was able to sell so quickly, is that you want to post kind of like daily. So if you do have a bunch of things that you want to sell on Poshmark or Mercari, you can definitely set them aside and then post them as you go, so that you're constantly showing up on the Poshmark or Mercari feed. Now, what exactly do you need to start your Poshmark and Mercari accounts? I'm gonna just go off of the things that I felt are important. So one of the things that you are gonna need are, you're gonna want high quality photos. I take all of my photos with my iPhone. I do have a DSLR camera, but I don't use that camera to take pictures for my Poshmark and my Mercari account. I just simply use my iPhone camera. But if you don't have a camera or a phone camera that has high quality, I suggest investing in one. Not something too expensive, just something simple that'll take some really clear photos. The lighting is everything. When you're doing photos, you want people to be able to see all of the item. You want them to see everything in extreme detail, because you don't want them to have any surprises. So I will suggest getting some soft boxes, or just taking pictures in daylight, natural lighting. Anything with nice bright lights would be really helpful. You can even make your own soft boxes. I'm gonna link down in the description box the soft boxes that I use. Another thing that you want to do is have plain backgrounds. You want your item to be the main focus, not necessarily everything else around it. So make sure that you are having like a kind of, I mean, you can kind of get really creative. I have seen some Poshmark shops that have some really creative backgrounds that have like marble with flowers and everything, which is nice, but I have kept it simple. I have a wood floor, so I use that kind of as my backdrop, or I also try to use my wall, which is a gray, just a simple background, because my main focus is the item and not everything else around it. So the good thing about Poshmark is that Poshmark actually, you're able to use the postage, like there's free packaging at the post office, because of the rate and shipping that you're using. You can go to the post office and get envelopes and boxes for free to use to ship your items. Now with Mercari, you can't necessarily do that, but I did purchase my own poly envelopes to send stuff in, and it's actually cheaper than if you go to the post office and try to buy an envelope there. So I'm going to show you guys envelopes that I used to use for Mercari that now I actually use for eBay, and I can do a separate video on eBay because that one's a little bit more complicated. I'm still learning how to use that. So this is the poly envelope that I use for shipping items that I don't get a free envelope for. It's like really simple. It's very durable plastic, and it comes with like an adhesive little strip here. And these are like 8.5 by 11, and they fit clothes. Those are really great because they don't add extra weight, which is key, because if your items don't weigh what the postage says, the post people are not gonna send it, and they're gonna give you a hard time. That packaging, I use different color tissue paper from the dollar store and wrap your stuff there. Is that I also have thank you cards. I just have little ones that I got from like Target. They have like these little cards like this, and they come with a matching color envelope, and that's what I use to send my thank you cards. It's always good to have thank you cards because it just is a good gesture, and you got to think about like how you would want your package to be sent and how you would feel to get a thank you card or a little extra note or even a little extra gift in there as a surprise that would make you want to purchase from the seller. So now I'm going to talk to you guys about some tips that I think are super important so that you can not only sell on Poshmark and be successful, but sell fast. So the one thing is that descriptions are extremely important. Be accurate. You want to make sure that if something has a stain or a hole on it, that you're making sure that you're putting that information, pilling, any of that stuff, just put the information there. And if people want to buy it, they're going to buy it. And if not, well, you know. Putting like the brands, the measurements, if you have that, all that good stuff. So another thing too about Poshmark specifically is that Poshmark has a social component where you can share and you can also follow people. So one thing I have been doing recently is sharing a lot. And if you share, people will see that you share their stuff and then they're going to share yours. So the more eyes that are on your products, the quicker you're going to be able to sell your stuff. So share and follow other poshers so that you can increase your sales in a timely fashion. And another tip that I will say, and also with caution, is try to post your items in multiple apps. Now, as you can see, I sold on Poshmark and Mercari at the time, but now I also do eBay. So if you can handle it, try to post on as many apps as possible, because the more you post on other stuff, the more eyes are going to be on it. But be mindful to look at the terms and conditions of each app. You cannot mention other people's apps on other apps. Just don't do it. It's bad business. You will get banned or suspended indefinitely, which is what happened to me on Mercari, because I had posted stuff on Poshmark and Mercari, and someone asked me if something was on Poshmark, and Mercari flagged me, and it became this huge ordeal because I didn't even tell the person to go and buy the item on Poshmark. I would have rather had them pay for it there on Mercari, but because of the customer service at Mercari, I was not able to dispute the claim. They didn't even give me a chance to make things right. They just banned me, and I am unable to sell on Mercari anymore, which is really upsetting because I really enjoy the app, but the customer service is horrible for sellers. Another thing too is communicating in a timely fashion. You want to make sure that if someone is asking you a question, that you are communicating on like ASAP. You got to think about customer service. You hate waiting in that customer service line and then it says like, you're 20 minutes in the queue. You know you're going to be upset once you get to the customer service person, so don't make your customers wait as well. You want to make sure that you're responding in a timely fashion and that you're also being courteous and also kind. Don't come off as rude, because I have seen people who do come off as rude. You're going to get a lot of questions. You're going to get a lot of lowball offers. It's just the name of the game, but just brush it off, keep it moving, and just be kind, and you'll make a sale. To never negotiate outside of the apps. Don't try to invoice people using PayPal. Don't do any of that stuff. Don't do it if you want to be able to continue to sell on the apps. Just follow the instructions. You're going to be able to sell, and don't try to finagle or do some other little random stuff. If you want to do that, that's on you, but do not do that if you want to continue to sell and not be banned. Another tip that I would say is open a PO box. My PO box honestly has paid for itself at this point. On Mercari, when you printed out your shipping label, it does have your address on it because people are able to return the items. Now, I didn't feel comfortable putting my home address, so I got a PO box not only for YouTube but for the Poshmark and for the Mercari returns, if any. I will recommend to get a PO box just because, one, it does look professional, but two, you want to also protect yourself because you don't know who these people are or whatever. It's the internet. Just, you know, keep yourself safe. So another tip that I want to say is to be honest. If people are asking you about the condition of the item, don't sit here and try to act like it's brand new when you know you wore that thing like 20 different times to the club and then some. Don't do that. try to give people as honest of an opinion. You have to think about putting yourself in their shoes. You wouldn't want someone to lie to you about a product, about the size, about how it fits, and then when you get it, you realize that they were lying. The more honest you are, the better ratings you're gonna get, meaning more customers are gonna come because you're gonna be a top rated seller. Don't try to make a quick buck by lying. At the end of the day, it's not gonna help you out. So another thing you wanna do is to ship as fast as possible. One thing I will say is that if you're using the post office or FedEx or whatever, please keep in mind that those things take time. What happens if your package gets lost in the mail? A bunch of stuff. Life happens. So make sure that you're shipping your stuff as fast as you can. If you are unable to ship things out, communicate with your buyers, because if you don't communicate, they're gonna be unhappy. When you're trying to list items, always look at what other people are selling your item for or what has sold, so that you can make sure that you're pricing your item competitively, especially if it's an item that's new with tags, so that you can make sure that you're making enough for your item. Then the last tip is to read user agreements, because they're on Mercari, you're actually not allowed to use stock photos and a bunch of other crazy things that they have on there which don't make any sense, but whatever. But always read the user agreements. I didn't know that I couldn't mention Poshmark on Mercari, and that got me banned. Didn't even send anyone to Poshmark, but it got me banned anyway. No harm, no foul, so make sure you're reading the user agreement so that you know you don't put yourself in that position. I'm also going to go off and do some pros and cons of each for Poshmark and then for Mercari. So the pros for Poshmark are that it has a lot of users, so a lot of people are using Poshmark. It is a reputable app and people have been making a lot of money on Poshmark. They do have free shipping materials, so when you go to the post office, you can get envelopes and boxes, which are a plus because boxes and envelopes can cost money. The other thing is that there's the social aspect that's also a plus. The more followers and likes you have, the more you're gonna sell. You also have opportunities on Poshmark to open a boutique. I have not looked into it. I don't think I'm gonna go that far. I really doubt it. But it's a cool thing that you're able to make enough money to open up your own shop and make a decent amount of money on Poshmark. So on Poshmark, you can also post more than 4 photos. On Mercari, you're only able to post 4. On Poshmark, you can post a lot more, which is helpful for your customers so that they're able to see all of the aspects of the item. So also Poshmark is really good because they have 2-day shipping, and sometimes they even do like 1-day shipping. So it's pre-postage and it's already there. You just print out the shipping label, super easy. You attach it on the item and it ships off to your customer. Poshmark has great customer service. I had an issue with a return. They were able to get that issue resolved and they were super quick about it, and you were talking to a human, which is a plus, because on other sites, you're not always talking to a human. It's sometimes an automated message. Their rating system is really good on Poshmark. It's 5 stars, and people are also able to leave comments. So it's not just like good, great, bad. It's a 5-star rating, which is a plus. Okay, so another thing about Poshmark that's really great, they are also on desktop, which is really cool because even when you're searching for something on Google, let's say if you check something out like, I don't know, like a red dress or something, Poshmark will show up on the Google search, which means more eyes on your listing, meaning faster sales. So now I'm gonna go off and talk about the cons about Poshmark, because again, nothing is perfect. Poshmark actually takes 20% of a sale that is over $20, which is a huge chunk sometimes, because you're trying to sell your item for a reasonable price and then you have to jack up the price because they are taking a huge cut out of your payment. Shipping can sometimes be inflated with Poshmark. Some of the stuff, it doesn't necessarily cost that much to ship, so that can also be a negative aspect. So another negative thing is that sometimes Poshmark can be slow. If you're not sharing, if you're not liking, if you're not following people, no one's gonna really see your stuff. So share and follow a crap ton of other Poshers if you want to make quick sales, and trust me, you will. But if not, it's gonna take a while. It can be very slow sometimes to make a sale. Just make sure that you're following the tips. You will get a ton of lowball offers on Poshmark. People are going to offer you almost half the price or even something ridiculous. Don't get offended, just counter offer. Try to get to a happy medium with the customer, but keep in mind that you will get a ton of lowball offers. So the last negative that I have for Poshmark is that the feed, in my personal opinion, on the app can be very crowded and overcrowded. I feel like there's a lot of stuff going on that sometimes can be a little confusing for people. If I want to look for something, I just search it. But on my regular feed, it can be a little bit overcrowded and a lot of stuff is going on that I don't understand. So now I'm going to talk about the pros and cons for Mercari. So Mercari, the pros are that I was getting a ton of quick sales on Mercari. I think I was selling like 3 to 4 things every week on Mercari, and it ranged, but I will say that I did sell a lot faster on Mercari than Poshmark. Another thing too is that I felt like the shipping was pretty reasonable for Mercari. Some of the stuff didn't really match the amount, but overall I felt like the shipping was a little bit more reasonable on Mercari than Poshmark. Another thing too is that Mercari has really fast payments. I didn't have to wait too long depending on when I requested a payment, so that was really nice that everything was really streamlined and everything was super quick. Another pro that I have for Mercari is that the user interface on the app was really user-friendly. It was really basic, it was really simple, and it was just something that wasn't super overcrowded. And if you're looking for something, it would pop up. It was searching. It was just simple to use. Another thing too is that Mercari only takes 10% of the sale, which is half of what Poshmark takes, which was nice, so that you were able to kind of sell your items at a more reasonable price. So now we're going to talk about the cons of Mercari. My number one con is honestly their customer service. Now, I had the issue where they thought I was doing something and I didn't really know what. They don't show you, for instance, if you are flagged for something, they don't show you where you went wrong. They just flag you and then they're just like, you're suspended, and you're pretty much talking to a machine. If you try to email them, it's really hard to try to contact them and to find an email to contact them. I will say it is very difficult to get a hold of customer service, and honestly, it was kind of pointless. It was like talking to a brick wall because it was an automated system. They weren't really listening to anything that I had to say, and so I was really upset about how I was treated on the Mercari system, and I felt like it was not as seller friendly. And it was just interesting that I got flagged, and I'm not the only person. If you search on the internet, there's a bunch of people that this has happened to, that they have honestly been unjustly banned for just miscommunications or misunderstandings. And then when you look, Mercari has a bunch of other accounts that are selling and have tons of ratings and really bad ratings from people, and yet those people are still able to sell. So I think that it's definitely one-sided. I think Mercari definitely needs to do a better job in their customer service department about that, because yeah, your girl was pissed. So another con that I did find on Mercari was that, like I said, there were a lot of people selling a lot of counterfeit items on there, a lot of fake stuff, like random things, and just kind of like also stuff from like China. It was just random things like that, trinkets. And I definitely felt like it was a good app, but there was a lot of things that I felt like I couldn't trust buying from Mercari. So another con too is that you were only allowed to post 4 pictures out of everything, and so it's definitely difficult trying to post lots of details about your product, especially if a product has a imperfection. Another thing too is that you cannot mention anything outside of Mercari. Like, you can't even mention Poshmark, you can't mention any social media. Don't even hint it, because you will be banned. Okay guys, don't do it, otherwise you will be banned just for even mentioning something like, oh, let's say if you have a bunch more pictures of the item on Instagram, or let's say you do post it on Poshmark but you would rather them buy it on Mercari. Don't even mention any of those things or you will be banned. Okay guys, just don't do it. It's not good. So another thing too is their rating system. There's only 3 ratings on there. It's either great, good, or bad, and yeah, there's no in between there. So I will say that I wish that they would expand the rating system maybe to a 5-star system, because it's either great, it's either good, or it's bad. And yeah, that's just your odds right there. I mean, I always had great ratings. I had over 48 great ratings, which I guess would be 5-star ratings, so I didn't have any of those problems. But I will say that that's kind of just, it's like the spectrum is a little off there. So another con too is that there is no desktop version for Mercari. Everything is solely on the app, so you do have kind of a very specific type of customer who is more app user friendly, and you have less eyes on your products on Mercari than you do Poshmark. And another thing that sucked was that I got a crap ton of lowball offers, which I'm not surprised because I feel like maybe it is more of a younger crowd on Mercari, but I got so many lowball offers and I kept having to just tell them, no, sorry, the price is firm, because it was kind of ridiculous. Like the item was probably, I spent probably over $200 to $400 on the item and people wanted to buy it for like 50 bucks. Like, this is literally has tags still on the freaking item and you're really gonna offer me $50? Come on, man. So yeah guys, that is everything that I have. I really hope this was informative. I really hope it was helpful. If you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comment section down below. Also leave your Poshmark username. I would love to check you guys out, follow and share. So, and also I will be leaving my Poshmark username as well. Don't forget to check that. I've been able to get a good chunk of money that helps pay for school, so which is really exciting and super helpful. If you guys like videos like this, don't forget to give the video a huge thumbs up. It does help me out tons. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.